were created to reign. What does that mean?
Hey.
You are royalty. You were created to win.
Ready, Dill?
There's a definition that says to wear a crown.
Hey, Blackhead, throw me a wave.
To your end, you were created to
Hey,
reign.
y'all can't see it.
To own your
Hey.
royalty.
What, I missed another one?
You are the essence of win. Oh, that's a minute.
Hey.
If I want it, I'm gon' get it. I make it rain. I make it rain.
Did I go? What? Okay, throw it again, throw it back. Okay.
I'm gon' get it. I make it rain. Oh, I make it rain.
Okay, Blackhand
Why
too
are you
slow.
doing this off camera?
When she shines, I don't have to do it. Because I was created to reign. She was created to reign. You are together.
I know, he's like, on the camera.
Together, I know who I am.
Throw it to the producer. He don't come back neither. Don't nobody come back.
What is this?
Hey, hey, yeah, we make it rain around here. We having a ball. Ah, yes, I'm so excited. We are back in the building. We are back for another installment, new hotness with another episode of Standing in the Rain, the podcast. Y'all, thank you for being here, for those who rock with me on a regular, for liking, subscribing, and sharing. If you are new, thank you. Welcome to Standing in the Rain, the podcast. Stay right here. You're not in the wrong place. You're exactly where you need to be. I want you to go to my YouTube channel, Rain Today, REIGN, Rain Today. Look for this face. Look for this space and like, subscribe, share, repeat. Like, subscribe, share, repeat. There are so many amazing episodes of Standing in the Rain on my YouTube channel, and you can get this podcast anywhere that you get podcasts. But I'm trying to tell you, this right here is the lick. This right here is the new hotness, the forever hotness. This is exactly what you want to do. So what is Standing in the Rain for those of you who are new to this, to me, and even for those of you who rock with me, like I said, on a regular? Standing in the Rain is one of my efforts, one of my expressions, one of my heart, one of my heart cries to point you to your greatness. That's all we're trying to do right here, is to help you, what's it say, helping you rock your royalty. That's all I'm trying to do, and I do that by sitting out here vibing with you, bringing in guests, my people, my network, the superheroes that I roll with, my super friends. I bring them to you so that you can learn from them, so that we can learn from them and grow at the end of the day and walk more fully in our royalty. So, and today ain't no exception. Today actually is even more so an effort in that regard, because it's the conclusion of what I've called the Standing in the Rain Legacy Collection. So one of the things that I've wanted to do for a while, and when I knew I wanted to do when I got this podcast off the ground, was I wanted to make sure that I was honoring those just honoring the people in my life. And I couldn't do that without making sure that I made room for what I consider those, the kind of the representatives of my legacy, if you will. And it starts, certainly, there's three folks that are pillars of that. One, my mother, the OG Rainmaker. Shout out to Janie Morton. Y'all can check out her episode. It's phenomenal. It'll break you down, build you back up. It's everything. And then also my oldest son, Brooke Rosemond. Shout out to Brooke. That episode, he changed me. I was sitting across from him. I'm like, it's like, hello, my name is Dawn. I'm your mom. I've never met you before. He was dropping so much knowledge. But this episode is the conclusion, because it's the last of the Rosemond children. And it's the youngest of the Rosemond clan. Today, we are vibing with the one, the only, the incomparable, the unimaginable, the prolific, the smooth criminal, the Dill weed himself, Dillon Rosemond. Yes, let's go. Wow, wow, wow. Dang.
See?
Wow, 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 wow. Give it up, give it up. Hey, we got a new thing here, though. Hey, Black Hand. No, you don't talk, Black Hand. You're a hand. You're a hand. That's it. Look, we got to have a shoe cam. You know, like most shows have a shoe cam and they show their guests' shoes. That's fine. Nobody care about their shoes. Check these out, though. The Rainmaker shoes. Y'all, I'm walking in the rain. Y'all, that's enough. Black Hand. Okay, Black Hand, that's enough. Thank you. Thank you. We're gonna have to. There's gonna be a job opening for Black Hand. I just want y'all to know that coming. After this, thank you, Black Hand. Appreciate it. So, yeah, rain gear drop, official drop coming soon. Got some, oh my gosh, kicks, all kinds of things. That's another day. But we are here to vibe with my youngest son, with Dillon Rosemond. Welcome, Dillon, to Standing in the Rain.
Thank you for having me on your show.
What? I can't hear you.
Thank you for having me on your show.
See, Dill and I both love Michael Jackson, and we always all things Michael Jackson, but sometimes Dill embodies him too much, and he has that kind of like, be like, what? He just likes to talk like that. So, welcome to Standing in the Rain, Dill.
You already said thank you.
I'm so excited that you're here. I'm so excited that you took the time, that you honor me with your time. I don't take it lightly. I didn't make you. I'm excited that you get to talk to them. I'm trying to tell y'all are in for an absolute treat. You have no idea. I'm trying to tell you, just sit back and fasten your seatbelts. I mean, it's just in for a wild ride. And so, Dill, what we do on every episode of Standing in the Rain is we vibe around a drop of the day. And I try to think about what it is, what about you, something that to me speaks to the essence of who you are. And so I was thinking about yours and trying to figure out what made the most sense. And I came across a card that you wrote me a long, long time ago when you were a kid. And you probably don't remember it, but it was a card. It probably was for Mother's Day or something like that. And it has a kid on the front with a bowl on his head, and it's got spaghetti spilled all over it. And the card says something like, thanks, Mom, for recognizing, and this is not a quote, but it says something like, thank you for always being willing to sacrifice dinner in the name of science. And it's like, and then inside of it, it said something like, thank you for always embracing me being weird or my weirdness or something like that. And then you wrote a bunch of things. And I was like, man, that is like who Dill is. And I just so appreciate that. And so I didn't like the phrase though, and again, this talk about the drop of the day. I didn't like the phrase like, stay weird or be weird. Not because weird is bad, but because people use it they use it like a weapon. They say it like an insult, right? Mm-hmm. Right? So I didn't like that. I didn't want to be like, be weird. Although I'm weird, but so I looked it up. And it has so many different synonyms, but the one that stood out to me, the one that was like, that's it right there. That's the drop of the day that we're gonna vibe around. So to me was so fitting that one of the synonyms for weird is this wonderful word called awe-inspiring. I think that is hot. So today's drop we're gonna vibe around is be awe-inspiring. People don't recognize when they need to cheer. I'll be my own personal cheerleader. It's okay. So be awe-inspiring, and it stands out for me with regard to you because that's what you are to me and what you have been. I was gonna say like since I've known you, but I've known you longer than you've known you. But you're awe-inspiring. You're awe-inspiring. Here's the other thing, and I want to make sure that's why I wanted to keep it. Another word I looked up what weird doesn't mean or its antonyms, and it says words like weird does not mean, or the opposite of weird is. Or the opposite of awe-inspiring, I should say, is boring, common, dull, normal, ordinary, standard, usual, known, regular. I was like, right there. I was like, you are none of those things. And you have been like that ever since you could emote, ever since you could communicate. You've been a person who marches to your own drum unapologetically. I mean, for y'all to know, y'all just to put you up on game a little bit, like you are a black kid, a black young man who likes who loves Kendrick Lamar. I already said you love Michael Jackson, but Kendrick Lamar and Metallica and anime and cooking and you're an artist and you like sci-fi and you just all and you apologize for none of it. I want to unpack this because you're 18 years old. Most folks, most people, most young people your age, your peers, struggle mightily with this. In the land of social media, it looks like everybody's trying to race to be like somebody else. And you do none of it. Talk about where that comes from. I mean, we're going to go there and in and out, but I just want to kind of where's that come from? Be awe-inspiring is what we're talking about. That's who Dill is to me.
Well, where that comes from is honestly the lack or just not feeling the need to try to compare myself to somebody else. I find there's a very big difference between being inspired by somebody and being envious of them.
Okay.
And so, because ever since I was young, you and Dad have planted this firm foundation of me and Brooke understanding who we are and not being, establishing that foundation that we know who we are and we know that we have a calling and that we aren't going to let anything shake that. It's just a natural thing. It's not like a thing I do haphazardly or even intentionally that.
You're not going out saying today I'm going to wear, everybody else is wearing black socks, so I'm going to wear green.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to, it sounds strangely counterintuitive to the point I'm about to make, but I'm not trying to be different on purpose.
Okay.
I'm being different because that's just who I am. And like I said, I don't find the need to try to compare myself to other people, even if it's people I look up to and just are inspired by, because I know for a fact that I'm not them. And because I understand that I have a specific thing, even if it's in the same area of expertise that I am called to do, that I am seeking out doing, I'm not gonna live their life. That's the thing. I'm not. And so you said it's a race to try to compare or try to be like somebody else.
Well, that's what I see in social media. Somebody posts and you're like, oh my gosh, their life is amazing, and they try to do that. And you see these, all these different things.
And when I see stuff like this, it's just that doesn't drive me because, like I said, I'm not them. There's a quote that Grandma says all the time that I saw in my music class in elementary school. It was on a wall, and it said, "Be yourself because everybody else is already taken." And I think that kind of stuck with me in the sense that regardless of how you move, regardless of how much you try to be like somebody else, regardless of if you try to recreate their success, you're not going to be them. Everybody's story is a unique one because everybody's experiences are unique. And so my whole thing is I'm trying to be me because I know who I am. I know what I was called to do, and I'm not trying to be you. And like I said, it's something I'm not doing on purpose. It's just my personality.
But what about, and I appreciate that, and I really, really do. But what about, like I said, I was like, you're a black kid that likes Kendrick Lamar and Metallica, anime and Star Wars and history and all these different things. Your favorite, I remember when we were having a debate. You remember this? We were having a debate about best pound for pound best music artist or something like that. It may have been a different category, but something like that. And we were going back and we were naming stuff. We're like Michael Jackson, blah, all these things. And you're like John Williams. And I remember Brooke was like, Pause. Flag on the play. You can't name John Williams. He's not. And you're like, no, he's had. And you start naming all the different things, and you're like, but you don't flinch about that. Most people, honestly, they're like, who's John Williams? If you've ever watched pretty much any movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Jaws, Jurassic Park,
yeah,
Harry Potter.
Is that John Williams?
What?
What I just did? What I do?
What are you doing?
What is
Is that
that?
supposed to be Superman?
I don't know what that is. Is that what that is?
Yes.
Is that John Williams?
Yes.
Boom, right there. I know my stuff. I know John Williams. So stuff like that. I mean, but the fact that you would throw John Williams into that conversation for many people, and I think Brooke even said it, like, dude, you're so weird. You're like, nope, he's better than everybody. He's better than everybody you just said. How do you, I mean, I get it. You, like, where does that come from? It's nice. I mean, I get it that we can tell you those things, but peer pressure is real. And the things that people say out there, when you get outside of the safety of your home, sometimes you're not even safe in your home, right? But that stuff lands. Like, how are you okay? Because I don't think that you just said John Williams because you were talking to us. I think if you were in a debate in an auditorium and someone said, let's debate who is the best pound for pound artist alive, music artist alive, you still would have put John Williams in your top 5. It'd have been Kendrick Lamar, John Williams.
I mean, he's number one.
Who?
He's number one.
Who is?
John Williams.
John Williams is number 1. See, you're saying it on a national show. Yeah, I said it. A national show. John Williams. So what do you do? I mean, again, we're vibing around and we're talking to them about, I want them to take something from this. I want y'all to be awe-inspiring. You are. But how do you walk that out, practically speaking?
Because in terms of like peer pressure and like whatever other people have to say, ultimately you are a non-factor in my life. You are irrelevant. You might as well not even be speaking to me. Because there's one thing to be able to hear from people who will positively build you up, who ride for you, who like got your back. But just like outside of actual criticism, if you are just simply trying to tear people down, it brings up the question of why? Who gave you the right? You don't have, and that's how I see it. It's like, you don't have authority over me. You are no better than me. You don't lord over me like some ruler or dictator. You don't have any authority over me to tell me that the way I am is somehow wrong.
That's good.
So
wait a minute. There's a lot of times if y'all rock with me a lot, you know that there are a lot of times in these, almost all the time, drops within the drop of the day. So the drop we're vibing around is be awe-inspiring. But what did you just say? You said who gave you the authority? You have no authority. What'd you say?
I said, who gave you the right? You have no authority as someone who has not lived through my experience, someone who has not done what I have done, and someone who ultimately is simply not me to tell me how to live my life or how the things I like, how the way I process things, how the way I deal with things, how I choose to live is somehow wrong.
So if I say, let's follow our example, Dillon, you're crazy. John Williams, I mean, we're talking about best music artist, and you put a composer in there. John Williams does not belong on that list. You can't throw him on that list. That's stupid. Respond.
That's your perspective, and I have mine. Like, why not?
That's what you're saying. Why not?
Why not? Like, that's ultimately the question. Why not? Beethoven is considered one of the best musicians of all time. So is Mozart. What changed? Why not? Not all music has to have words. Explain to me why not.
So help me believe this here, because you said you might as well not be speaking to me. That's what you said. When someone's saying something like that, like that's weird. But I can't speak for you. But sometimes that stuff that gets said about me lands. When there's like, Dawn, you're weird. Or, I used to, I used to have, and I've shared this sometimes when I had, rain classes. Like I had, just really, not contentious, but difficult, or not really kind of frankly non-existent relationships until I pledged Delta in the fall of 1991. Shout out to Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. J13, you see it? Okay, so so
And then you missed the opportunity to actually make noises.
it's not noises, Dill. They're not noises. Anyway, they're not noises. I will educate you. They're not noises. They're beautiful sonnet.
Yeah, still didn't. You missed the opportunity.
So there you go. So I'm not until I pledged my sorority. I had such either non-existent or very hard relationships with other black females. Just one example. Because they thought I was weird, and they called me white girl all the time, which because of the way I speak. And they thought I was odd, and I was in the band, and I loved it. Not just in the band, but loved it, and carried my trumpet all the time in class with my book bag or in school because I couldn't. They didn't know this, but because I had so many classes and they were so spread out, I'm like, I don't have time to go back to my locker, and I carried my stuff. I was that kid, and I just didn't. I was uncomfortable all the time because I was picked apart a lot, and I didn't know I was okay for the longest time. It's what powers all of that. I'm grateful for those experiences because it powers what I'm doing today. But man, that stuff was hard. I didn't know. I didn't know until I walked into the room for the information meeting for Delta that, I saw, that it was okay to be in this skin with this flow, with thick thighs and this kind of hair and whatever, and that you're smart and it's all okay. And it's not something that to hide from, or that I did all those things. I didn't know all that. So I'm asking you because I struggled. And maybe what you're saying is that we, sometimes I think as parents, you can either give your kids your dysfunction, or you can work to make sure that they don't do the things or suffer from the things that you contended with. And I hear you, and if that's what you're saying, my gosh, thank you from the bottom of my heart, from me and your dad, that if you're saying that you got the positive out of the negative. But how do you deal with it? Some of those things have to land when they say, like, that's stupid, Dill, or why you like that, or that's odd, or you black. I used to get, like I said, I used to get that all the time. What do you do with that? Or does that just, it doesn't faze you?
Me personally, it doesn't faze me. Now, like, for me, yeah, no, it just doesn't faze me. It's really just white noise. But if it does, then you need to then reassess, one, why does it hurt you? Because the only people who have the power to hurt you are the people you give that power to. So why do they have why in your thought processes does their opinion hold so much weight?
That's good.
For you, and I don't know, this is just an educated guess, it was probably because you didn't fit in with people who looked like you.
There was nobody who looked like me for the most part. There were only a handful of people, but go ahead.
No, but what I'm saying is that's a part of the problem. You had no camaraderie with people who looked like you or could relate to anything you like dealt with. And so when they would essentially ostracize you and call you weird, it hurt because that was something you were seeking.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even make it a bad thing because, truthfully, just pain makes us stronger. Like the saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger is like, it's a tale as old as time. What you live through, what you like, you scar, but it grows stronger.
Yeah.
Working out, you literally tear your muscles every time you work out so they can grow back stronger. It's the same principle with you, but in order to withstand that, you need to first reassess why it hurt. And then you need desperately, and for me, it's God and the relationship I have with him, but you desperately need something or someone who is able to tell you that you are enough, that you are, regardless of what anybody says about you, still you,
Yeah.
that you don't need to change.
Yeah.
That's the difference. A lot of people get hit with this stuff and think, oh, like, regardless of who it's from, if it's from a spouse, your boss, some random person you don't even know, if it hurts you, they will think, oh, I need to somehow change. And that is a never-ending struggle, because you will be changed if you then submit and give into essentially what irrelevant people say. You will constantly be changing and never actually be able to grow you. You will be fighting for the approval of other people who don't actually care. And so when the blows come and they hurt,
Yeah.
you need to be able to understand, and just honestly, the best thing to do is to constantly have affirmation of who you are.
So have you had a situation where one of those blows, those punches landed for you? No.
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 He said no. No.
No.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Really?
Mm-mm.
This is a PS. This is a, what do you call it? A commercial. This is a commercial break for Rain. Rain works. Exhibit A. Okay, back to the regularly scheduled program.
The closest I've ever gotten was strangely from y'all when we went to New York and y'all said I walked weird. It bothered me for like 5 seconds. And I was
he
like,
does walk weird. He does. He walks weird. His legs are out and he walks. He can't keep his feet straight. He walks
literally
like,
do.
He doesn't at all. It's not true. But go ahead.
Then I was like, I don't actually care that much.
And then he just decided to like.
Yeah, because it's like, that's what I'm talking about. You need to reassess, like, why and what is it that they said that actually hurts you? So, like, for example, oh, you walk weird. Okay, and that affects me how? Like, it's something that like, if you overthink, it's like, oh, I can be real self-conscious. Oh, I need to start walking. That affects me how, though? Like, so if I start walking what you declare as normal, that changes me in what way? I just devoted a bunch of energy to being able to please people who literally don't care. Like, it's something I bet y'all don't think about.
I have never thought about it since I said it.
Exactly.
It was just something funny to pick on you about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's just like such a non-issue, but regardless of how like serious you may deem it to be, even if it's something you're self-conscious about, think about, why does it matter that it came from them?
So what if the answer is they're my coach? I mean, we're talking again, we're vibing around, be awe-inspiring. They're my coach. They're my mom. They're my dad. They're my spouse. They're my best friend. They're my significant other. They're my teacher. They're my mentor.
And for that, I say, God places people in your life to instruct you, to critique your things, to guide you and help you grow. Your parents, whether it be your coaches, regardless, all the people you just named. However, if you can understand who you are, it doesn't change the fact that regardless of who it's coming from, they are not you. Yeah. The only person who could understand the reason for anything you do fully is God. So your parents may think it's weird that you like to draw instead of going outside or playing sports. That doesn't make them right. And I'm not saying like get all sassy with your parents, but like you need to understand like life is a constant fight to eat the meat and spit out the bones. You need to be able to constantly hear, but also discern what is helpful for you and what is not. And be able to do that logically in a way that makes sense, not just, oh, I don't want to hear this right now, so I ignored it. But like in a way that, regardless of who it's from, you were able to, whether it's criticism or praise, take what they say, assess it, and be like, yeah, that makes sense, or that part doesn't make sense, ignore that, and keep it pushing. Because like I said, regardless of who it's from, the only person who can know you the way you know you and the way you understand why you move is God. And it really just, to me, this is just my opinion, that no one has authority over your life to tell you to change who you are besides him.
Do you know, that's powerful, Dill. You know that I don't know if I've ever told you this. Like, there are times you've said, not this is really profound to me, but that you've said things, like, I don't care. Or Dylan, I was like, Dylan, that are you okay? You're like, I'm fine. And I have not believed you. I just couldn't process in my mind that you didn't care about that, or that didn't hurt your feelings, or that you weren't secretly upstairs like sad and crying. I want to bring this forward because we're going to talk about this because this is just, it's really important. And let me scratch my other PSA. I said PSA, rain works. PSA, God works. That just, golly, sheesh. This makes me excited. But so just full disclosure. So Dill was, and I'm so proud of you. You're going to get it. You'll get my sound effects. Dill was co-valedictorian of his high school. Yeah, right. And he applied to all of these schools. He applied to, because he wanted to go to film school, right? And he applied to all these really huge programs. USC has a wonderful, phenomenal film program. NYU, Columbia, UCLA, Emory, Yale. I think you just applied to Yale.
I did.
Yeah, Yale. I don't know if Yale has a film program or not. I think you just decided I'm valedictorian. Why not? Am I missing any other ones? How many did you get in, Dill?
None.
I'm sorry?
None.
How many?
None. I ended the school year with a 3.93 GPA. That's almost 0.7% off of, not percent, but decimal point off of the highest you could possibly get in high school.
Yeah.
Got into none.
None. He ultimately ended up getting into a program, the business program, the MPP program or whatever for USC, that would have allowed him to go someplace else and then be able to get into USC if that's what he wanted to do. But technically, yeah, he got into, I want to make sure this is clear. None means zero, means zilch, means nada. They all said no, one after the other. So we've been waiting forever, and we were trying to figure out, and this is for y'all, I want you to understand this, because just how this translates, because I really want to dive into how where that came, what you've been talking about. Waiting, hadn't heard anything. My gosh, why haven't we heard anything? We spent how many hours? We spent so many hours on Common Apps, and golly, and essays, and all the things. I mean, I think, it was crazy. So we get all the letters. We don't know where they are. Finally, they realize they're all going to your spam. One Sunday, Dillon finally goes and opens all of them, comes downstairs and says, I got into 0. I go read them. They all say the same thing. We're sorry. Congratulations. You're such a great student. It's really great. But no. I'm sorry you're such a great student, but no. I'm sorry you're such a wonderful student. And we wish you we wish you all the luck in your endeavors, but no. Right? One after the other. So now, end scene. So we don't know. We don't know. So we sit down. You're talking about, again, we're vibing around be awe-inspiring. You just talked about, like, you've got to know, you talked about identity. Mm-hmm. You've got to know who you are. Talk about how you felt. You're talking, somebody's looking at you right now, and you're like, oh my gosh. Talk about how you felt and how you utilize that. Just talk about that for a moment. We've never really talked about it.
So how I felt is pretty much how anyone would feel, just to a lesser extent. I was like, man, that sucks. And I was upset. I'd say for about an hour and a half. And then I was like, I gotta keep it pushing. That because that's my mentality. Because like,
I was more upset.
Yes, you were.
I mean, I was like, oh, baby ain't go. Oh, baby didn't get in. What we gonna do? I was upset. I was upset, Dill, but not upset. I was mad for you, but I was upset because when you as a parent, when you just love your children in such a way that you just want to make everything happen for them. And you recognize that as you get older and older, for all you parents out there, if you got little ones, you recognize that every year that passes, you never, I hate to bust your bubble, but you never had any control. They're just on loan to you anyway. But I just realized in that moment, like, I could do nothing. I couldn't do nothing to fix this. I couldn't go back and bully, beat up anybody, say something, nothing I could do to make those particular no's turn into yeses. But that wasn't the plan anyway. But go ahead. I just, I was more upset than you were.
And you said there's nothing you could do to fix it. But the important thing is that you did stuff previously so that when stuff like that happens, I'm not all broken down by it. Because, like, something I learned early on was, if you actually take, like, there's a difference between getting, like, rejected or because you didn't handle your business. But if you do what you were supposed to do and you get that no, and that door shuts in your face, there's a reason for that. Yeah. Like, God does, like, everything God does is very intentional. Very intentional. And you brought it up like a week later, something that I had already like been past, and you said if I had gotten into one of those schools, I would have gone. And that's absolutely true. However, now seeing the position I am in now, and I've come to terms with this before, that if God didn't want me to go there, then he has something better waiting for me somewhere else.
That's awesome. That's what's up.
So that no was to keep me from doing something that he didn't want me to do.
You really believe that?
Yes.
I know that. I mean, with as serious I'm sitting here, I know that. Yeah.
Yes. Because just, and I'm thinking about it, just, you need to be able, that's what I'm saying. You need to be able to, regardless, be able to bounce back. Because all those prestigious schools with all those prestigious directors and actors that came out of them, and none of them still have any right or authority to tell me that I'm not him. Wait, that I'm not like that.
We gonna break this studio down. It's gonna be like, because I'm about to run up in here. I'm trying to tell you. Go ahead.
And so my mentality on that is, if you don't want me, you missed out. Because I'm gonna take my abilities somewhere else. I'm gonna take this presence of God that flows with me somewhere else, and I'm gonna be able to touch people somewhere else that needed it. Because you didn't want me here. That's cool. Then I'll be waving from over there. But like, like I said, regardless of accolades, regardless of prestige, you have no right to tell me that who I am is not enough. And so I firmly believe that God, those are doors God shut because he needed me somewhere else. Yeah. And there are people that needed me somewhere else. I guarantee you that there are relationships that I will never have had that will be life-changing for people all over the world if I had gone somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah. Producer said, he said, on the flip side of that, we take for granted all that God keeps from us, right? Did I say it right? That the things that he protects us from. You know, you think like, oh my gosh, he made this happen. But you're like, oh my gosh, we should be running around just thanking God that relationship didn't work out. Mm-hmm. You know, or that you didn't get into those schools, or that you didn't get the job, or that move fell through, or that you didn't get the offer, or whatever it may be. They didn't pick, just whatever it may be. A lot of times we look at things and we kind of see them as like, well, if it doesn't line up with what I want, then it must have been a fail. When in reality, what I want, what you're saying, is that, what we want has to be submitted to the authority. At least this is what I'm saying. Let me back. I'm going to put this on nobody else, but I'm going to say it. What we want has to be submitted and put under the authority of God's plan for our life. We can want it all day long. And I heard this the other day. Somebody was talking about, you're either going to get the answer to your prayer, or he's got something better for you. Mm-hmm. And you may never, and he tells us it's going to be that kind of thing that's exceedingly above all that you could ever ask or think. So it may not make any sense to you. We'll talk about where you're going, but you not getting any of those schools don't make no sense. I know they got a lot of applicants and all those things, but it didn't really make any sense. It was systematic closing of doors, like, no. And what's funny about it, so Dill's heading off to Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida, film school. Beautiful campus, beautiful school. It was like when we visited it, I told Dill this, like somebody was running around in his head that somebody is God, like he made it, his mentor is like his grandpa, shout out to Papa Tracy, says that it's like God, he's like, I truly believe God, designed Full Sail before he even ever hit this planet. He's like, because he knows that it's going to be for my kid one day. That school can be more perfect for you. But so you're heading off there. But it was one that we talked about before that you rejected. Mm-hmm. You remember that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you rejected it because you I didn't want to be in Florida, right? Mm-hmm. Right? You wanted to be in California or New York, because that's where that'll teach y'all by itself. Because that's where, if you're going to be in this industry, that's where you're supposed to be, right? So. Know this. I mean, again, it's offering this up that, again, you think but my gosh, your plans don't have anything on God's plans. He can make this happen. Location is only something about, something for us. It don't make no sense otherwise. I mean, just so what do you do though? I mean, there's somebody sitting out there and they're like, man, I'm struggling. This happened to me. I didn't get what I wanted. It didn't work out the way it was supposed to. What do you say to them?
That, and regardless of who you are, it's just a human thing. Life, the way we perceive it, is like looking at an ocean through a keyhole. You can only see so much of it. And so, in that, it's a thing that you need to understand that God has blessings lined up for you. Like you said, you either get your prayer answered or he has something better for you. However, he will not allow you to receive something you can't handle.
Yeah.
For example, think about it this way. it is irresponsible for you to give someone a car that they can never pay for. They can't pay for the insurance. They can't pay for the car payment. You gave it to them for free, but they can't pay for it. So they're gonna lose that car.
Yeah.
And be in a worse spot than they were before. Think about that in the same way as God is not an irresponsible parent. He is not going to give you something you cannot handle. And so what he does, and you talk about all the time, like God's plan for your life. It's not like he gave us a free will. We are the only creatures on this planet that have one. But he will set things out for you to be able to take the steps and prepare you to be able to handle it.
Yeah.
So whether it be rejection, hardship, Dr. Underwood said Dr. Oscar Underwood of Cornerstone,
Yeah.
he said a great quote that God does not send a storm, but he will allow it in order for you to be a different person, a better person on the other side of it.
Yeah.
And
good.
another thing going with that is God does not send a storm or allow a storm that you are not equipped to handle.
Yeah.
Everything that you need to handle any adversity or hardship has already been placed on the inside of you. And so, regardless of how bad it looks, remember, keyhole. You can only see such a small portion of it. But if you keep it's like insanely difficult to do because like you expect or want something to happen immediately. But if you just keep obeying what God tells you to do, he will prepare you and change you in a way that will allow you to receive that blessing that he has for you.
So okay. Let's that golly. It's hard for me like to. I'm looking at. I mean, you guys are watching me like watch this. I mean, watch Dill. It's like I live with him. This is the last day, but I live with him. But we've not. It's like I'm being introduced to you for the first time, and so it's just a blessing kind of to sit here and listen to you. To you speak. I want to talk about where you're going. So you desire, you're going to film school. You desire to create. You're a creative. You've always been a creative. What is it that you're trying to? I'm a creative. I express myself in different ways. What are you trying to? What's the footprint you're trying to leave on this world? What are you trying to do?
Inspire people.
Inspire people. What does that mean?
Change their thinking. Give them. So I firmly believe that God has inherently placed limitless possibilities, the ability to tap into a limitless imagination, to be able to create anything. If you want a change in the world, if you want something to happen in your life, create it. You can create the world you wish to live in. And so the biggest issue with that is society as a whole tells you imagination is a children's thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That even regardless of how successful creative people are, regardless of how influential creative people are and continue to be and have been throughout history, for some reason, society is set in stone that creativity and imagination is something for children. My objective is to give people the green light to be like, that was cool. I want to do that. I'm going to try doing that.
What's one thing? What's a creative work, a movie, a painting, or something that did that for you?
A lot. But I mean, just go basic. Star Wars.
The whole series.
The first 6 movies and everything that is encapsulated in that. I'm not going to get into, but
I know. Yeah, I know you don't count them other ones, but
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah.
yeah, but
So why?
why?
Yeah, why?
Because, okay, so the first Star Wars movie came out in 1977. The only other major sci-fi thing that came out before that was 2001's A Space Odyssey. That movie is dreadfully boring. That's just it's so boring. And so when I look at Star Wars, even though it's not the original, even though it's not even my favorite amongst the 6 movies, it really shows to me a bunch of people who had an idea, and regardless of limitation or like boundaries that the world has put on them, figured out a way to do something magical.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were able to transcend what should have been physically possible at the time and do something that has lasted for over 40 years, coming up on 50.
And counting.
And counting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like these like studios and like these things that you hear like ILM or Skywalker Sound, these like huge companies that work on everything,
Yeah.
were started by people who weren't going to take no for an answer.
Yeah.
George Lucas and his team wanted to see a big gray ball blow up a planet. I don't know how you even do that in 1977.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, we think about it now with all the technology. We're like, of course, you just do this and CGI it and blah, blah, blah.
yeah,
whatever.
but I don't know how.
Man.
I don't
Yeah.
like some of it. I understand how they did it. Other stuff, I'm just like, I don't even know how you do that in 1977. I don't know how you understand to do that.
Yeah.
But it's really the thing that, like, they had a vision and like they were able to take that and bring it into reality. It inspired me. One of the many things that inspired me, like, if they could do that then, what can I do now?
That's hot.
And it's the same. That is my goal, to just give people the green light to be creatively them. Because, like, Star Wars literally shifted not only sci-fi, but the entire movie industry as a whole. Just completely revolutionized it. Just all of the like classic 80s action movies, all of that stuff came from people who just had a vision and went and took it to a level that people didn't think was possible.
And so to make sure that we're clear, being awe-inspiring is what we're vibing around. You're not trying to be the next George Lucas.
No.
Yeah.
But that's my point. That is what true inspiration is to me. Not that, and that's the difference between inspiration and envy or jealousy. Those two things lead you to try to chase after somebody else's dream. God didn't give you their dream. He gave you yours. And so while you're so busy trying to be them, trying to do what they did that made them successful, you're missing what he's trying to show you over here that could propel you into your dream. So no, I'm not trying to be the next George Lucas. But like I said, he among many others have inspired me to look within myself and be able to embrace that imagination, embrace that creativity, and pull it out so that I could not be the next them, but be the first me.
That's right.
Because before that, there wasn't a George Lucas.
That's right.
Who did that stuff. The movie industry was very stagnant before the late 70s. It was very stagnant. There weren't people doing that stuff. And so that is my goal, to inspire people to understand who they are and see what's in them and be able to pull it out. themselves, like be able to consciously, like have a conscious awareness of the greatness that's inside of them, the creativity, the imagination, things that only they can see, that nobody else can see, and have the courage enough to, regardless of limitation, be able to make it a reality.
Man, I cannot wait to see what you create. This is just going to be bananas. It's going to be epic. Dill, I could sit here and talk to you. I mean, obviously, I mean, literally, it's like I'm being introduced to, I don't even, I'm losing track. I mean, I normally am not at a loss for words. I'm just like, my gosh. You said your goal is to inspire. You're already doing that, starting right here today. With certainly, I hope everybody watching, but my gosh, with me, Black Hands over there, I think he in tears. You know, it's powerful. So okay. You've got the last word. You've got people out there. They're trying to find it. They maybe don't. They didn't have Dillon. I don't have your parents. Dillon, I don't have your upbringing. Dillon, I didn't go to Cornerstone. Shout out to Cornerstone, by the way. Transformative. Dr. Underwood, Dr. Stephanie, Dr. Naylor, Mr. Underwood, Ms. Mons. I mean, am I missing anybody? All of them. I mean, just all y'all. I mean, my son, Cornerstone has just changed the life of my sons, and I'll be forever grateful to to the Cornerstone family. But you know, I didn't go to Cornerstone, Dillon. All these people you naming, I don't even know about this God you talk about. I don't know what to do here, Dill. But I'm not you. What you got the last word. Be awe-inspiring is what we vibing around. Talk to them.
You don't need my experiences. That you said all these things like you don't have my parents, you don't have everything that makes us who we are based on our experiences. And so while my experiences made me who I am, what have your experiences made you? What have they given you? Because it's very easy to be problem focused in life, to see everything that's wrong, to look at everything that's falling apart around you and be like, oh, I wish I could have that. But then you need to think about, instead of being problem focused, try being opportunity focused.
That's good.
Because every problem has a solution. You just need to be able to look at it. And so you don't have my experiences. You don't have my life. You don't have my thought processes. But you need to be able to look at what you have, say that that's enough, and then go from there. Be able to have the courage to look out and be like, okay, so what am I gonna do about it?
Yeah.
There's a problem in my life. What am I gonna do about it?
Yeah.
Not gonna complain. What am I gonna do about it?
Yeah.
And so, like you said, be awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
People who are awe-inspiring are the unique people. The people who don't care what societal norms say. The trailblazers, the history makers, those are the people who understood that being them was adequate, and being them was all that they needed to be in order to succeed at whatever they wanted to do.
So be awe-inspiring means being you.
Yes.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, man, you have been awe-inspiring yet again today. Dill, I want to thank you. You have been phenomenal. It's been an absolute honor to be your mom. It's been an absolute privilege to get the assignment to raise you, to co-parent you with your dad. You and Brooke have been the most amazing thing I've ever been allowed to create and unleash on this world. Golly, man. I hope y'all are as fired up as I am. I hope y'all are as turned on to yourselves as I am by this. Be awe-inspiring. That's what the vibe of the day is. I hope you stay locked with what's happening with this young man. What's your social media handles, Dill?
So just official_Dill.
You got. You're gonna spell that. Nobody knows what that. Yeah.
Official_DILLOP.
Yeah, it's gonna be on the thing. It's gonna be all linked anyway. So that's what we're gonna find him. So stay with him, stay locked, so you can know what's going on. We are heading out on a jet plane, heading to leaving on a jet plane. No. Okay. I'm so excited. Thank y'all for rocking with me on another edition of Standing in the Rain. Thank you, Dillon. This is the end of the Legacy Collection, but the beginning of just such magnificentness. Y'all don't want to miss this. This is fire. Let's go. Let's get in it. There we go. Yes. Wah, 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 wah. Hey, that's what's up. Let's go, Dill.